and welcome to Community Viewpoint. I'm John Pollock, your host for this segment. With me today is Tamlin Taylor from the Nye Communities Coalition, and your title is?
I'm a program coordinator over there, and I work on various programs, mostly in and around nutrition or promoting physical activity.
And she's one of the newer members on the Southern Nye County Conservation District. She's the assistant chief? No.
Supervisor. In that organization, they call you supervisors. And that was mostly so that I can help with the Earth Day event that we have. But it's been a really interesting position to have, and I'm looking forward to it, learning more about it.
You stepped into it with both feet. We're also in the process of doing well testing for Basin 162, which you're going to get your feet wet on that too, a little bit more. And that's what I wanted to bring up in this program here. And then Tamlin could talk about that a little bit more because she's into food and what's in food. One of the things that we test for, there are a whole slew of things in our testing, is arsenic and cadmium, pH of the water. It's very well run test. It's a do-it-yourself test. You mail it in, and it comes back within a week. And it's a certified labs, and so it's very well respected, laboratory that's doing this. So arsenic was one of the first things that came to my mind. And then when we were talking about rice and things like that, there's arsenic in small quantities in rice, but some people have issues about the amounts of arsenic and how bad that is for you. Most people believe, do you want to tell them where the bad rice is, the good rice?
So when we were looking at the research, it seemed like one of the things they pointed out was it really depended on the variety of rice and where it was grown, what country. As far as the degree of arsenic contamination. And it turns out that in India, Asia area, a little bit higher amounts of arsenic as compared to, say, like California. And the variety, it was interesting. They mentioned that brown rice, wild rice, could actually have higher rates of arsenic because the arsenic is on the outer portion of the grain. And when you have a white rice, they mill away or they process away that outer portion. So a white rice compared to a brown rice, the white rice is better in a sense as if you're looking at the arsenic. And one of the other things they mentioned, if it's a rice that's already been processed in the sense it's already been cooked and put into a package that you heat up within the package, sometimes that package has the plastic in it. So you're also looking at a higher rate of problems. So better probably to get a whole grain, and I'm choosing California just because what's in California may be a lower rate of arsenic. They did mention too the way you cook it is important. For instance, I didn't know this, that if you soak the grain the night before or something, or about, just said half hour to soak it, and then when you cook it, you put in more water. Like you were going to cook pasta, put in like 6 to 10 cups of water, and then you boil it and cook it. And then when it's ready, you pour off that water. And that lowers the level of arsenic as well. So different ways of cooking the rice makes a difference.
And sometimes there's trade-offs because you may be washing out some of the other minerals that might be good for you also. So, but evidently, that's a good way to rid yourself of some of the arsenic. When you're talking about the farms out in the Southwest California, they mentioned this one farm, the Ludberg farm, family farms in California, which is generally lower in arsenic and heavy metals. They also test for it, and this person has heard about it, this issue for years, and would only buy from this brand, or they go without rice or use cauliflower rice at home. So some of the different rices from around the world is basmati from India. Is that how you say it?
Yes, I think you have that right.
And jasmine rice from Thailand. See, I'm learning things I never knew that. And then the California grown sushi and Calrose rice.
Okay.
I learned something more. They were at or below 100 parts per billion levels set by the FDA for arsenic in infant rice cereals. So that was what we're finding, and there's too many contradictions to say one is better than the other. I will go towards the Southwest California. It gives me something to do, look for this farm.
Right, and I was curious too to know, well, how does it get in there? And is arsenic natural in any form? Because so there is a certain amount of that's in the soil that's kind of natural, but then it can be added by things like pesticides or other contaminants. And apparently the inorganic form of arsenic is the more dangerous kind.
Yes.
So I thought that was interesting.
So we're looking at that in our groundwater here also, and then we looked at it here in the rice. So that's an issue, but I'm so old, I'm gonna die anyway.
Now, have we found arsenic in the Pahrump Valley?
Small amounts, yes.
Okay.
And the company that we use reminds us not to worry about that too much because it's present in so many things that on the planet. There's many other things like the plastic particles, the microplastics that are killing us now. We've only started to find out about that, but they've been around for decades. So,
Right, the microplastics. And we've talked about this before, I think, on this show in and around the Earth Day event. But it's becoming a thing you see in the news almost every other week or so. So microplastics are the very small particles of plastic you will find in your water, in your food, in soil, other places. And unfortunately, it's now getting inside us. And so there is some research on it, but most of the research is with animals, so like fish or rodents, and that they've proven that microplastics is no good for your health on that level. With humans, I've read that they have found it in some of our tissues, like our lungs, our heart, and in the placenta, they found microplastics. So even though it's not proven to be detrimental to our health at this time, I still think it's prudent to want to limit as much as you can. So one of the big areas I think is water, the bottled water. So the
Yes.
microplastics from the bottled water can be a problem.
the fact is that it's in your vehicle and it gets over 100 degrees here in the Southwest, and you have these bottles that are basically right next to melting in the car when it's over 110, 120 degrees. And then you crush the bottle with your hand and the plastic breaks off and becomes embedded in the water you're drinking. Even though it may be filtered very well, you're polluting it yourself with the plastic. Thing to do is to get something like this.
Yeah, I was just noticing
stainless
that.
steel.
Right.
Or at home, find other things besides plastic to use. Now, if you look in your refrigerator, unfortunately, you'll be able to see how much plastic we have, which is like 90% usually with things, whether it be ketchup, mustard, many, many things. Your cartons for butter. So what are you going to do? How are you going to...
Right, and I think in my class even I've been asked, you've seen those frozen vegetables that you can heat right in this little plastic pouch, and they ask, well, is that safe? If you go look at the industry information on, yes, it's safe, but overall, I think if you look at your lifestyle and what you have in the kitchen, I still think it's best to cut back wherever you can. So one of the places you can start, I got it buried here, is we have these plastic cutting boards. Very convenient, easy to wash, but the problem is each time you cut into it, you're getting some microplastic. So go over to a wood or a bamboo or even a glass cutting board. You got plastic utensils and stuff that we've gotten because we have the non-stick coating on a lot of the pans. So maybe eventually start getting rid of these and move over to wood, very safe. And then even with this non-stick pans, some of them could be problematic, especially as the coating breaks down in them. So you might think about using stainless steel or even cast iron. and just, being careful, because you don't want to consume all the particles from those, from the different, there's so many chemicals in our system now that we want to try to limit it. I got one other thing, the plastic containers that we use all the time and not thinking about it, slowly get rid of those and go to glass. I mean, there's still plastic on the lid, but if I was to heat this up in a microwave, I would not use the plastic. I would just, maybe a paper towel or something over it. Even paper towels, cloth. I read that your kitchen towels, go to more just cotton. And then the sponges, I never thought about the sponges, right? You can buy cellulose sponges. They're more natural and doesn't have the plastic in them. The plastic bags we use, there's all kinds of alternatives now. If you Google, non-plastic bags, there are many different varieties that you can use. So what I've done in my household is to slowly try to limit the plastic that comes in and eat, of course, whole foods. I don't own a microwave. I don't find them necessary. Most of my pans are the stainless steel, and that works for me. So over time, I just feel that if you want to be healthy, you need to start eliminating some of the contaminants that are coming in through our food system, as well as selecting very healthy whole foods. I want to remind people I do have a nutrition class coming up. It's called Eating Smart, Being Active. And it's an 8-week class, just kind of a foundation nutrition class. And it's very personalized. So for whoever's in there, I try to go to their level and figure out how can I help them make changes in their diet. So this is going to be starting actually next Tuesday. It will be at the Senior Center, Pahrump Senior Center, on Tuesday morning at 9:30. So you're welcome to join us for that. And I have a couple other things. This isn't nutrition related, but what this is I'm also with Friends of Discovery Park. They got a wonderful class coming up on June 5th at 5:30 at Great Basin College, and it's going to be sketching wildlife. So that should be really good.
And I thank you, and we should do another segment on this because there's so much information. We've run out of time, and we've got you to talk to next week. So thank you for stopping by, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.